Good evening, everyone. It's Carl back with Newcastle Fans TV's group reaction. I'm joined tonight by Sam, Adam, and Liam. Lads, how are we?
Meh.
Yeah, frustrated.
Yeah, Liam, yourself.
I don't know what you can say, to be fair. I think Sam hit it on the nail on the head in the last video. It was 1-1 with 5 minutes to go, and then we got beat 4-1. But I think that's just a typical Newcastle thing to happen.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. I'll quickly just jump into the line. Anyone that hasn't seen the result, obviously Newcastle just been beaten 4-1. As Liam's just said there, 5 minutes ago, 1-1, concede 3 goals. Fantastic.
We nearly got away with it again.
Yeah, it was typical Bruce ball tonight, wasn't it? I think everyone would agree.
Yeah. If we didn't get that own goal, then we wouldn't have scored the day.
No.
We've said a few times in the past videos, especially after the Tottenham game, our luck will run out one day. It did. I don't think it was a 4-1 game, but it was.
On the whole, possibly it was, because we didn't have Ryder luck, and obviously Darlow had a worldie and saved a penalty. But when you're 1-1 with 5 minutes of normal time to go, and then you end up getting beat 4-1, it kind of feels like a kick in the balls, doesn't it?
What did you score, Darlow, just out of interest?
Go on, Liam. Tell them what you scored in.
7.
You had a drink today, chap? Or?
Yeah. The reasoning behind it was because he did keep winning the game, and I think it would have been a lot higher if he didn't concede 4 goals. But obviously,
he wasn't fault for any of them, though, was he?
Nah, he couldn't have done anything with any of them goals. They were world-class goals. They obviously saved that penalty save.
So what was that last bit? Sorry.
He played on injured, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he should have taken off.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we had a lot of people having that discussion in the live video. It's just a nightmare all around. Getting into it, I mean, was everyone quite positive with the lineup that was put forward?
No.
What stands out for you, Liam?
Jeff Hendrick at right wing. I think I was speaking about the previous video, but it's just what's the point? What's the point of playing Jeff Hendrick at right mid? We should be going after them. Maguire has had a shocker in a couple of weeks. De Gea's terrible. That Lindelof's terrible. We should be going at them, not just sitting back. All Man U have got is their front three and one really good centre mid player. That's all they've got. And we're just sat back, we're just accepting defeat.
Seemed that way. Well, obviously we've gone 1-0 up from an own goal, which was who did it come off? Luke Shaw? Did it come off Luke Shaw?
Yeah.
Who me and Adam, were abusing him because of the weight he's put on, and the amount of times he skipped past some of our players tonight was beyond a joke. Absolutely beyond a joke. But again, looking at their lineup, it looked like they were there for the taking, didn't it? To be honest, that was not a strong Man United side. I mean, they're a weak side this year anyway, but that's probably one of the weakest sides they could have put out this evening. I think. Would everyone agree with that? Or
yeah.
I'm not sure.
McTominay, Fred. Yeah, McTominay and Fred actually dominated the midfield. It was just going ever so wrong in the middle of the park for us today. It just doesn't look right. I mean, that 4-1-4-1 formation was an absolute farce. And Bruce has just this wonderful knack of introducing new formations at the worst moments.
Yeah.
Why would you change formation against probably one of the bigger teams in the league? You would want to do it against a lower division, not a lower division, a lower team in the league. So, I mean, it just seems like he's got now as a manager.
We've had 3 cup games as well against lower league teams, so they would have been perfect to try out new systems, especially when you're beating Morecambe 7-0. But it just baffles me. He did it last season as well. He put out 4-4-2 for the first time in that disastrous Leicester game last season, didn't he? I just don't know why, because that Man United team's nothing to be scared of. It's still a good team, but I mean, McTominay, Fred, James, Lindelof, meh. It's not
for me, you've got to look at Maximin, who's just signed a new deal, and he's got to be thinking, why have I just done that for? Like, I'm playing in a team that were 1-1 at 5 minutes ago and then lose 4-1. You know, it's just like everything just seems a bit daft.
Absolutely, I think we both. Well, Adam, you spoke about it quite a bit in terms of Maximin's performance tonight. He was nowhere near his best. His decision making, I think you kind of said was pretty bad tonight, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah. I don't want to be too critical on any specific player, to be honest. But he just, as Liam says, he's just signed, a new deal. Should he be playing as a number 10 or on the wing where you can risk him kind of like giving the ball away in them type of positions? He just, his passing today wasn't great. He set Wilson up in the second half for a good chance. But he just must be looking around him going, we've just scored in the first five minutes. Why can't we go and kill the game instead of sitting back? Liam touched on it before, playing Hendrick right wing. He wasn't even playing right wing today. I think we all expect he was playing centre where he had the Shelby. Yeah. And he had Jolinton on the right wing. The tactics are just all over at the minute. And I can speak on pretty much behalf of every Newcastle fan. No one knows what team he's going to put out today. And it's just so frustrating because we should know Fraser and Almiron should be in the start 11. Jolinton and Hendrick shouldn't. And then Bruce can work what shape he needs to out of that. But we were piss poor today. The tactics were shocking. Simple.
Absolutely. We go in, get that goal. We think, as you've just said there, and Maximin's probably thinking the same, that we're going to kick on, put this essentially, against a weaker Man United side and have the opportunity to put the game to bed or at least go even 2-0 up. And instead we sit back. And then this happens from Harry Maguire. The man that's been in the media for however long, his head's not in the right space. Everyone's been bashing him left, right and centre. And it's just Newcastle all over that he's going to get the equaliser, isn't it, to be fair? Who'd you put at fault for that goal? Anyone want to jump in on that one? Is there anyone?
Fernandes, I think, but Fernandes was marking him, wasn't he? And he just, I think he lost him. From what I remember, like, he just didn't follow him, and obviously he's got a massive head, hasn't he? So he's gonna just smash the ball in the back of the net if it comes to him. I don't think there's anyone else you can really blame for that because obviously it was a set piece and Fernandes was marking him.
No, I agree. I think we both said that as well, didn't we, Adam? That he even when he's run past him, he's just left him as well. Like he's not even followed him at all. So that happens, and then we decide to continue to sit back rather than attacking the game. And Marcus Rashford, talk to me about Marcus Rashford's play acting for this penalty. First of all, do you think it was a penalty?
No.
What
about you, Sam?
No, well, I said on Scoring the Players it was similar to the one that we got at Spurs. It's a soft one, but as soon as it gets checked and they're then checking for an offside, it was just like, it was going to get given. It's harsh on Lewis. Lewis, who gave the penalty away, actually got the highest outfield score from the outfield players in Scoring the Players, which make of that what you will. But yeah, it's VAR for you, isn't it? It's one of them. If there's no VAR, it's not a penalty. But Karl Darlow was a masterful. That's the first penalty that Bruno Fernandes has missed, isn't it?
Great save. Great save.
He's quite good at saving pens, isn't he, Darlow? Because I remember when we won the championship and he was it 2 against Nottingham Forest that he saved. Yeah.
Adam, you made a good point about when the refs are walking over to the touchline to have a look at. Obviously, the telly. It almost seems now that they feel obligated to give the penalty when it gets to that stage. Would you?
It's just frustrating watching as a fan, especially on the telly when you know they're kind of looking at something, because you don't know what they're looking at anymore. As soon as I seen it, I didn't think it was a penalty at all. I don't think any Man U fan would think it was a penalty. But as soon as I seen it go to VAR, I was like, do you know what they're going to give this here? I seen a tiny bit contact on the shin. I was like, I think he's going to give this. It's got its pros, it's got its negatives. Obviously, it's helped us in the first half. You know, it can come in helpful when the linesman doesn't see a tight offside against one matter. But it can be, if we obviously not our game, but if you look at if anyone watched the Liverpool-Everton game today, it's just so inconsistent. And if they don't sort it out, it's going to ruin the game because fans will just become detached. Referees at points being there, you might as well just have a drone in the middle of the pitch, just tell them when this VR to look at this, and you might as well just get rid of the referees because they're just becoming pointless to the game, especially the linesmen. We all love the game. They need to get this right in the next couple of years, otherwise it's going to kill the game.
I think speaking about VAR, I think VAR should have a time limit. Like if they haven't made a decision within like 2 minutes, then there's just no point because it's like, yeah, it's not clear and obvious because everyone's waiting for this decision to be made, and it's obviously the referees in the booth kind of obviously make a decision. So it's like, well, if you kind of make a decision after 2 minutes and just go with whatever the referee said.
I mean, you made another good point as well, Adam. He when we were watching the game, he's been in the game a long time, the ref, and he's 5 or 6 yards away from that, and then had however long to look at it. Why do you think he's actually give it? Because every time anyone looks back at it, I'm like, that's not a penalty. What has he seen that he's given that? I still can't fathom it now.
We forget VAR it's not a computer who's telling him he may have made a mistake. It's another referee sitting in an office saying you might want to check that. So that referee is questioning the integrity of, in this instance, Craig Pawson, saying, look, you've made a mistake here. He's not saying he's saying you've made a mistake, you need to check it. It happened to us against Tottenham. So we got the advantage. This is going to happen all season, unfortunately. We got the favour against Tottenham, obviously. We've seen how the Tottenham fans reacted like that, right? So, but it doesn't cost us the game tonight. It's one of them things. It's, Darlow's made a great save. It hasn't gotten us a point, unfortunately. But the FA need to sort it out sooner rather than later because it is slowly killing the game.
Absolutely. Can I just ask? Sorry, because Adam and Karl, who do you think was our best outfield player today?
I think, to be honest, mate, we were talking about it, and we didn't necessarily think anyone had a really bad game. I think it just the way it was set up, no one really had anything about them to go out and play, if that makes sense. I just think they were held back. I thought Fernandes wasn't great, but I did say I don't think Jamal Lewis put anything wrong, any foot wrong, and I think Adam was quite impressed with Kraft again. I think, be fair in saying that.
I thought Kraft did okay. I thought for the last goal he looked knackered. I thought he ran his socks off. I've just watched a couple of bits back there since I've come off the live show with Karl, and there's a couple of times like he's been caught out. We're going back to the question. I thought Callum Wilson was great again, holding the ball up.
Didn't get enough.
I got sick of saying it through the game. He had no one around him. For our goal, he was quality. But I said I don't want to criticise really any individuals because I think today's defeat comes a lot down to tactics rather than individuals bottling it or not being good enough. I thought Man U were there for the taking. I don't know if you agree, Liam, but I just thought we bottled it.
I think Bruce bottled it massively.
Yeah.
Like you've got to look at it like this. You've got two very, very quick players and two creative players sitting on the bench, and then you've got Jeff Hendrick, who was a centre mid playing right mid, if that was where he was actually playing. We should have just went after them from the minute go, but we didn't. We're just lucky to score the day.
Yeah,
we're lucky.
Obviously, we've gone into half time. Luckily at 1-1. Were you expecting any changes at half time, or did you want any changes at half time rather?
Yeah, to get a new manager. I think that's my opinion.
I think we all want that, mate.
I would have hooked Joe Linton. I really would. I would have hooked Joe Linton and Brian Fraser. I thought he was poor today. Was Joe. Looked a bit lost on the right, I thought. And considering Shaw got the own goal and was having a mare the first 5 minutes, Shaw was actually one of their main threats down their left-hand side in the end, because we were so ineffective on our right with Kraft and Joe Linton. So I would have liked to have seen him hooked off sooner. But it's a recurring theme, isn't it, with Steve Bruce and his substitutions happening just a bit too late. And another recurring theme which reared its ugly head again today was defending from set pieces.
Yeah.
I just think defending in general has been piss poor. Again, I think we've been getting away with it, to be honest. Like, I don't know what Bruce has instilled into the back four, but they've seemed to have forgotten how to press fucking players, and it's pissing me right off.
Do you not think we look worse when Lascelles was back on the team? Because I was quite annoyed Lascelles started tonight. I thought Shaw was unfortunate to miss out after the Burnley game. I know he went off injured in that, but I think we look a lot worse in the back four when Lascelles is in there. I mean, I think it was the second goal where Rashford was running and running. Lascelles just stood there, stood. And I think, I know he's a captain, and I'm sure he's great for the club and behind the scenes. But as a defender, he's not good as Shaw Fernandes or Lejeune in my eyes.
See, for me, Lascelles is good against a team like Stoke, where it's just going to be long ball after long ball, and it's going to be physical. But I think against anything that's quick in at your feet, he's not very good. Like,
he's constantly backpedaling, isn't he? Like, I agree with that. To be fair, I do agree with that. What were your thoughts on Lascelles, Sam?
I just thought he was okay first half. I don't know. It's just, this is what happens when you go to a back. This is the thing, right? So it kind of doesn't matter. But this is the argument between 4 and 5 at the back. So just because you're playing 5 at the back doesn't mean you're going to sit back and play negative. We played 4 at the back today, and we were freaking horrendously negative. So obviously, he does look more comfortable in a back 5 with the 3 centre backs. I mean, we had the perfect blend under Rafa with Lejeune, Lascelles, and Cher. I don't know. It's a far cry from where Lascelles was a couple of seasons ago when we were calling for him to be in the England squad. Yeah. Them calls aren't very loud anymore, are they? It's a tricky one. I mean, if Kieran Clark's fit, do you go with Clark and Fernandes? Probably. Every
day of the week for me.
I don't think this was the right game for Cher to be playing centre back in a 2. Then again, it wasn't a good game for him to come on as a centre mid when Hayden went off.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, coming on to that, what do you make of that decision? Steve Bruce has got an opportunity there to bring on an attacking player, go for the game, still 1-1. Man United are still there for the taking, to be honest. Yeah. And he brings on Fabian Shaw.
The problem was that Sean Longstaff had tonsillitis, and there was no other centre mid on the bench, was there?
I know, but you can still stick with Shelvey and
Hendrick and put Fraser on the right. Yeah, that's what you'd have liked to have seen, but he just doesn't. He leaves these attacking changes way too late. He always has. It's frustrating. I would have, as I say, I would have put Fraser on at half time. Or, well, no, that's a lie. I would have started him. It's just the same tactics with the same negativity and the same excuses. I saw some quotes from him after the game, and it was the same rhetoric he's used so often now. It is, we're trying different things. We're trying to change things. I mean, it's mid-October in your second season in charge, pal. Come on.
Yeah. I heard you say last week, Sam, I don't know if it was on your show or last week's reaction show, like, outside fans must look at Newcastle and go, what they're complaining about. Yeah. Like, Steve Bruce has got you here, they've got you there. If we'd won tonight, we could have went second. Can you imagine us sat on this show, still complaining about Steve Bruce? And fans would look at us and go, look at these fucking idiots. But they don't watch us week in, week out and watch. I can get away with playing bad football. We've all watched us play bad football for years. It's the indecision to change a game or to change tactics that's getting me. And today, like when you mentioned the change before about Shark coming on, that showed his intent in the game. He wanted to get out the game with a 1-1 draw instead of gambling and going for a victory.
Oh, yeah. They 100% sat back and tried to take the point 20-25 minutes to go, didn't they? That was
it's just so frustrating.
No to try and win the game. Even like on the counter, ASM was largely invisible during that period. So it was completely negative and sitting back and just paid them far too much respect.
What do you think it is? Why do you think he's not making these changes sooner?
Out of his depth.
For me, Bruce reminds me of Pardew. Like it seems like Maximin is the Ben Arthur like 6-7 years ago, and then we've just got Callum Wilson, who's like a Loic Remy or a Cisse or a Bar, and then everything else is just from the previous manager. Obviously, Rafa got a good core team. He instilled, this is how you defend, this is the formation we're going to play. And then Bruce's came in and tried to mirror it and then just messed everything up like Pardew does. Like it's when Pardew left Newcastle to go to Palace, he had that good run where what Palace were doing all right, and then after like half a season they just went a pot. And it just seems to me like Bruce is doing what Pardew's doing, where he's relying on the previous manager's tactics and the previous manager's players. I think if Rafa had the players that he's got now, we would have won that game 3-0, in my opinion. But
I don't know about 3-0, but I think we'd have won it, mate. Definitely. We certainly wouldn't have lost 4-1. Certainly wouldn't have lost 4-1. Yeah, so obviously we kicked on, and this happens to Darlow after he's had a fantastic game. He's kept on the pitch. Bruce still not making changes. Obviously, he's brought on Fraser for Joe Linton finally. I think, was it the 70th minute or something?
Something like that.
So he's only got 20 minutes to get into a game. Yeah, and then, soon enough, Darlow's struggling and we've just got no direction whatsoever. What do you do? You know, I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't. I'm struggling for words with regards to how terrible.
You've had a long night. You've done a watch along. Come on, you're nearly there. You've done well.
It's not that. I'm just really struggling to put into words how bad Steve Bruce's tactics were tonight. And
the thing is, if you just want to get a 1-1 draw with this game with 70 minutes left, you want to keep the ball. We couldn't keep the ball throughout the whole game.
No.
Like, we couldn't do simple passes. It just seemed like everything was so much hard work. Like, in that game, everything was hard work.
Me and Carl kept saying it through the game. Even Lee came on at half-time, and Lee said, if we keep playing like this, as in giving the ball away, as in just sat there back, they'll score. And they did. It might have took 85 up to 85 minutes, but they were going to get there. You know, they got the 2 after, but that's what good teams do. They punish you. I mean, that was a shite Man U team. Can you imagine what a good Man U team would have done to us? You know, it was coming. And I said to Carl, if us as fans, Liam, Sam, Johnny, Lee, we can all see what's happening, and thousands of fans out there can see what was going to happen. It was that predictable. How can't Steve Bruce? The goal was coming, and it just came, and we sat back. And then I actually felt sorry for Almiron having to come on for 3 minutes. I did. I was like, you poor for it.
Well, that was because Steve Bruce couldn't make up his mind whether to take Darlow off, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was umming and ahhing, didn't want to make a decision just in case Darlow did have to come off, which is why he fucked around and gave Miggy 3 minutes.
I mean, however, 3 minutes for Almiron is ridiculous.
Bruce seems like a very good manager. Like, he seems like the players seem to love him. But regarding picking the first 11 and picking the tactics, it just seems like we're just go and play football. Just do what you want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think like the likes of Jose Mourinho has gone and won all the trophies he has because he's a nice lad? It's because he's stuck there.
You know what I mean? You've got to be see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was. He literally goes in the dressing room at half time and just tells them just to be the see you next Tuesday word. Do you know what I mean? All the time. And it seems like Bruce goes in at half time and be like, well, lads, how was the bacon? Do you know what I mean?
How's the bacon? Oh, yeah. It's
like I'm not a manager by any chance of the word. You know what I mean? I'll probably kind of manage a Sunday League team, but I can see
you can in that robe, mate. You can in that robe.
Well, I probably could. You know what I mean? But like, I could see from the minute goal, from when we scored that goal, we literally tried to sit 10 men behind the ball. It just seems like there was no point. We should have, like I've said earlier, we should have just went at them.
Yeah.
We should have killed the game off.
Either where do we go as a fan base with this now? Because obviously everyone, I think the majority want him out because it seems like he's not going to change his ways, or he's incapable of doing it. And you touched on it earlier. Obviously, if we'd have got the result tonight, we'd have been second. People would have been laughing at us for feeling exactly the same way. What do we do? We're going to back the team regardless.
Who would you get though?
I think we had a brief chat, and I think the only one that sprung to mind was probably Eddie Howe. But whether Ashley would do that,
Steve Bruce isn't getting sacked.
No.
Steve Bruce is not going anywhere. The thing is, I don't know who we've got next. I can't remember our next fixtures coming, but we'll probably go and get a result in the next 2 games, like we did against Burnley and West Ham, and it takes the pressure off him a bit. Then we have a shit show like we did tonight, like we did against Tottenham and against Brighton. He's that type of manager. He's done it his whole career. Whatever club he's been at, I said to Karl before, I've got a lot of friends who are Sunderland fans, and they've been here. They've seen it, and this was 10 years ago. He gets a result, and then he gets a whopping, and then he gets a result, and that's why his win percentage is so bad, because he doesn't win enough games in a row. And he will get sacked one day. We all know that. He's never going to leave Newcastle a hero, I don't think. But for now, while Mike Ashley's in charge, there's no one else. Absolutely no one else will come in.
No, it's ridiculous. The second goal, I can't remember. Was that Bruno Fernandes' goal? Was that the second goal? Where he's was that the one where the Lascelles was back pedaling?
Free kick.
Free kick.
Yeah, I think well, that's another thing. Our set pieces were pretty poor tonight as well, weren't they?
Yep.
Pretty poor. Then they kick on, get a third, and then the fourth from Rashford. It just leaves us. Where are we now? 11th in the table.
See, that's not bad.
It's not
on the face of it. This is the
really
thing.
Not.
But we've had quite favourable fixtures. I remember me and Johnny came on live as the fixtures were getting announced, and we both said we need to get off to a good start. There's winnable games there. We need to start well, otherwise we're in the shit. And fortunately, we have got points on the board, but it's not always been the prettiest, has it? We've had 2 good performances and 3 pretty horrendous ones. So we go to Wolves next, and then we go to Everton, which no one wants to play them at the minute. No. They're on fire. So Wolves, I mean, Karl, we could go and get our binoculars and go and stand up the tunnel by Wolves. Not far from me and Dee, so we could go and do that.
Yeah, I'll be up for that, mate. Definitely. It'll only take me about half an hour or so.
Okay. We'll keep our 2 meters.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Just try and shout some tactics to Bruce, see if he listens.
Oh, he never listens to me.
Paper airplanes at him.
Yeah. Who ideally next week? Who would you start with?
I would start the same team, but with Fraser for Hendrick. Maybe actually take Lascelles out for Shaw.
Do you leave Joe Linton in?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah. What tell Karl and Adam what you scored Joe Linton today, Liam?
A 5, I think. Was it a 5 or a 6?
You gave him a 5.
Give him a 5. I didn't think he'd done much wrong, but do you know what I mean? I think his performances are improving.
His work off the ball is shocking. I could rant about Joe Linton all day. He gives the ball away so easily, and he doesn't want to get it back. He's so lightweight he's a big lad, actually. I said
he does look like a stocky kid, like.
I don't know how many chances he's meant to have in this team before Steve Bruce says to him, "Will you fuck off on the bench?" Because he's had chance after chance after chance after chance, and he's never delivered. Never delivered.
I think
was that one game against Tottenham last year.
The last few games, I thought it had been all right, but like no disrespect to anyone, but tonight it was fucking shit, mate.
Yeah, it was. It was terrible.
Liam
gave him a 5 after slagging me off for giving Lewis a 6. But
I just didn't know whether I feel bad because he gets so much shit on social media. So I'm like, oh well, I'll stick up for him. I'll be the shining light.
I've been.
I still can't believe he gave Lewis a 6. He was dreadful.
No, it wasn't.
He was.
Compared to everyone else, there wasn't a lot he did. Well, I know he gave. Yeah, the highest outfield scoring player was the one that gave a penalty away.
I'm the first one to jump on Lewis's back, and to be fair, I thought he was all right tonight. I don't think he put much wrong at all.
Get Dummett back in that team.
I want him back in. I do, but it's going to take time for Lewis to bed in.
But I think if you're looking ahead to Wolves and you name a lineup for next Sunday, attacking wise, what are your forward players going to be? I think we'd all probably say the same. In that, I would go 4-2-3-1. Wilson is your lone man up top, and then you go ASM Almiron in the 10 and Fraser.
Why isn't he doing it?
I don't know.
See, I think like I'm a massive fan of Wolves and how they play. Wolves are a much better team than Man U. They've got some great players. So if Bruce is watching, and is it away to Wolves? It will be.
Yeah.
Bruce will set up 5 across the middle next week. Mark me words. There's no chance he's gonna take a risk and play 4-3-3, or he's gonna go what he did today 4-5-1. I don't know. Crazy formation today for me.
And the weird thing is, we've actually got a half decent record at Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
The last two in the Premier League have been 1-1, and then we won there in the Championship, didn't we? Mitrovic back in the day. So
yeah, if we lose the next 2 games, Wolves and Everton, it changes our season.
Oh, massively.
We're all of a sudden in big trouble again, and I think we will lose them both. I can't, as Sam said, who wants to play Everton at the minute? They're on, they're on
fire. Did you see how good Rodriguez was the day against Liverpool? Sorry? Rodriguez for Everton, he was unbelievable.
Yeah,
I'm sure Kraft can take care of him.
Well, he was like Wan Matter. How old's Wan Matter? 35, 34, 35.
Tonight he was.
I know, it's ridiculous. You're telling me that we can't keep up with one fucking Matter? He's 35.
Yeah,
honestly. Oh, I've had enough.
This is Bruce's tactic. So he'll make the team play bad this week. And then we'll play unreal next week because then no one expects you to play good. Do you know what I mean? It's all like in the mind
games. Yeah, mind
games.
Oh, but Adam, you made a good point earlier. Obviously, if we'd have won tonight and gone second, how bad is the league at the moment?
It's the worst it's been in years. I don't think having fans not there help. It doesn't help. You're seeing there last week. Man U got beat 6 whatever off Tottenham. Then you're seeing Liverpool getting pumped off Aston Villa 7-1 or 2, was it?
7-2.
That doesn't happen when fans are in the ground. It doesn't. That's why this is the best league in the world. It's competitive. And although the players are still the same, I get that, but the fans give the players that bit more. They go in that tackle a bit extra. They put that bit extra in. And I think maybe that's why Bruce is doing a bit better than he probably would have been with the fans there.
Oh yeah, there'd be a couple games, wouldn't there, already this season that if fans were there. I mean, do you think that fucking Brighton game, what the atmosphere would have been like there after that?
Even tonight, you imagine a Saturday night, everyone's been out all day. 4-1 at home to Man U, which is an unacceptable result, considering Man U is probably one of the biggest games for us after Sunderland. The fans would have been livid tonight if they were there. But again, Bruce is getting away with it, as Sam Ali mentioned before, to see him regurgitated shit in his press conference. No fans can question him because we're not allowed there at the minute, which is, it's going to be for the foreseeable. But the Premier League is poor at the minute, but I do think the fans have a big part to play in that.
Yeah,
personally.
Definitely, and that's what I was just trying to get to, the fact that he's getting away with so much because the fans aren't there, getting away with results because the fans aren't there. Looks like he's performing better than he actually is. It's just an absolute nightmare. I said to you
before, I'm frustrated because the media will probably pick up on Harry Maguire and how he's the comeback hero after his poor week and how Solskjaer's getting the best of him. He's great. No one will question how shit our tactics were.
Yeah.
There's not one national newspaper will write an article tomorrow about how poor Steve Bruce was because he's protected.
I would love it if they did, though.
Eh?
I would love it if they did write Bruce's shit.
Brilliant.
But,
Absolutely brilliant.
The thing is, the local journos are pointing this out. They see the same as what we do. I mean, you look across Twitter and, Mark Douglas and Chris Waff and Colkin, Edwards.
Yeah, Luke Edwards is doing a bit about it, to be fair, isn't he?
Yeah, they all see what we see. So it's a strange one because, this is life of a mid-table team, I guess. We have one good performance, one mediocre, and one utterly dross, shite performance. And that's just how it is. But you just sense that if they can kind of get their shit together, there's a real core of that squad that's real half decent that can kind of push into the top 10, which
100%.
is all the more frustrating when you see games like today and how we've set up again. And it's a recurring theme, isn't it?
We get called deluded for criticising Steve Bruce.
Yeah.
We get called deluded for it. It's crazy. Sam's right. We've got a good team there. Good team. Just
but we need Champions League football, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, number one.
We've had a dodgy start, but I still think we can win the league.
Yeah, that's what, I always think we could win the Euros next year. Do you know what I mean? We'll qualify for Europe and then we'll win the Euros. All you
got to do is believe.
Yeah, like it's just mad, like how this season's going. I was just thinking, like, where would this team be under Rafa right now?
Oh, you could.
That's a question for you.
Oh,
if Rafa had Maximin and Callum Wilson, where would this team be?
I don't like talking about Rafa.
No, I don't. But because I could tell you now, he's probably still playing five at the back. He probably would. Yeah. But I tell you what, Lejeune wouldn't be out on freaking loan. That'd be for sure. But that's very much a separate issue. But you can look back at that all you want, but it's not going to change anything. We've got Steve Bruce and Rafa's struggling in China, isn't he? So you never know. You never know. What's
the crack with this project restart? Project bigger picture. Do you know what I mean? Like the top six debate, like deciding on who can take over a club. You know what I mean? It seems a bit mad, like
thrown out, hasn't it?
Yeah. And then the EFL rejecting like the payments from the Premier League. Just seems like a bit mad.
Yeah, there was a bit of a sordid undertone to it, though, wasn't there? Giving the top six control, but thankfully it's all been thrown out, and hopefully it doesn't rear its ugly head ever again, because it was pretty pathetic from the pretty pathetic attempt at a power grab from the usual suspects.
Well, it kind of reinstates what Stavely said, though, didn't it? To be fair, which was interesting. Everyone laughing at us, thinking that we're deluded about that, and then that comes out in the media. So it was Newcastle fans were probably the only fans that weren't surprised by that, I think, to be fair.
Yeah.
So
for me, like Newcastle fans are probably one of the realest who'll give the honest opinion about anything. Like when Pardew went to Palace, the Palace fans were buzzing, but we were like, well, he's one of the worst managers I think we've ever seen. And I think people think we're deluded just because we want a team to progress and not be 17th. Like, who wants a team to be 17th? Like, come the end of the season, you're like shitting a brick watching, like, we're winning 2-0 against West Ham when Jones scored that goal. Do you know what I mean? Like, who actually wants that? But you want a team to get in the Premier League to progress. Obviously, we're never going to win the league, but you want them to get the higher up each time. And it just seems with Newcastle, you just sort of like stick in the middle. You go maybe one position higher or like 4 positions lower, but obviously you want to win the Champions League, don't we? So
absolutely, mate. Still waiting for Mbappe to come through the door, and until he does, I
thought he was coming in January. To be fair,
you heard a rumor, have you?
Yeah, him and Neymar. I heard him. I'm sure I've seen Neymar in the corner shop.
He was in the Shark Bar.
In the where?
in the Shark
You know
Bar.
what Shields, isn't it?
You heard about them famous wings for £1 or whatever? It's Chalk Bar on a Wednesday, a Wing Wednesday. They get me to Newcastle to get these wings.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. So as you can tell, we're all very dejected. Again, because of Steve Bruce. If anyone disagrees with me, I don't care. He's shocking.
Do you reckon he goes home and be like to his last, I've had a decent day, graft the day? You know what I mean? Like when for me, like, how can you actually be a manager and like what do you actually like? What's he thinking now? Is he thinking, we're just unlucky there. They just had a good team. We were just unlucky. But like for me, it just seems like there's no pride in it. There's no pride. He's like it's just frustrating. I can't even get the words out.
Like the positives I've took out this season so far, like I know it's all negative. The positives I've took out, Sam touched on it before. I do look at our team and go, fuck me, we've got an all right team.
Oh, absolutely.
Then some of them, they're not bad players. It's just getting that person who can put them where they should be and getting the thing right. Because I think if we can get that right, a lot of teams will be scared of playing us. Whereas at the minute, some teams are rubbing the hands. Oh, great, and we've got Newcastle.
Yeah.
There's just I think the only positives are Darlow and Callum Wilson. If I'm being honest, do you know what I mean?
From tonight's game?
Just in general for the season. Callum Wilson's got 4 and 5, and Darlow's been playing a blinder since Dubravka got injured. So
yeah. To be fair, before we do go, we had a chat about that as well. January when it comes around, providing Darlow's not out long term or whatever, do you switch do you bring Dubravka back in, or do you keep Darlow in goal?
It's a question for you. I think until Darlow makes some mistakes, you've got to keep him in net. I think he's been probably one of our best players so far.
Yeah,
it is a tricky one. I would put Dubravka back in.
Yeah.
Why, Sam?
I mean, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah,
Dubravka's number one. We know he is. He is just that little bit extra special. He's just got that extra bit of quality about him. Don't get me wrong. I love Darlow. I like him. I've always defended him in the past because I think he's a cracking second choice keeper that can fill in, do a job when required, like he's doing now. But Dubravka's the number one.
I'm probably going to contradict myself, but I think like Dubravka's probably one of the best keepers in the league. I think if you see him at like a Man U or a Chelsea or a Juventus, he's going to be classed as a world class goalkeeper.
Who's that? Sorry, Dubravka.
Love Dubravka.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the stat that you brought up earlier, Adam, with regards to Darlow? His total number of saves, was it?
Oh, it did. Came up during the game. I think he's made more saves in the Premier League than any other goalkeeper, but that's probably because we're under the cosh most of the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, prior to this game, though, it was sounding good because obviously we'd only conceded 5 goals, but that shot up to 9. So, yeah, forget that stat now.
See, in a good way, in a good and bad way, that's good, but it's also bad. Like realistically, you didn't want to see your goalkeeper having a good game. You literally just don't want them to even get it. Like you never want to see how good a goalkeeper is. You just want to just rely on them. And I think any goalkeeper that's going to be in the Newcastle team is just going to be getting peppered with shots all the time.
100%. 100%. Yeah, that's enough from me. Unless anyone else has got anything to talk about.
Not about that horror show, no.
Adam, Liam.
Brexit?
God, don't get me started on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, not good. We've got some cracking guests coming up on the Greenwood and Mulliner show, if you want me to talk about that.
Mate, do that.
Looking forward to that.
Well, we've got 2 pre-records in the bag, and then we've got another 2 coming up this week. I don't know whether I should tell you or not. I'll tell you the 2 we've got in the bag already because I don't want.
Have you got the all clear from the boss to be able to do this?
About what? From who? Who is the boss? Johnny or Lee?
Why do you not leave some Easter eggs in the video?
Call it the Greenwood and Greenwood
Let's
show.
see if people will watch the very end to see what they know what's coming up this week. So we interviewed Carly Telford, England goalkeeper and Chelsea goalkeeper. We spoke to her for a good hour the other day. She was great value. A massive Newcastle fan as well. She's brilliant to talk to. And also after, I think, the lads who were before me were trying to get this over the line. Thankfully, I managed it the other day with the help of Lee Marshall and Matt Smith at the club. We finally spoke to Newcastle United women's manager Becky Langley as well. So we finally got the chance to speak to her, and she is a very determined, competitive. She's really got something about her, and it would come to no surprise to me if her ambitions were realised, because she ticks a lot of boxes.
Brilliant news. And when's the next one out, mate? Sorry.
Carly Telford should be out Monday.
Cool. Right. Yeah.
But quick question before we go.
Yes.
How long until Maximin leaves?
I think that that 1 year extension is just putting him in the window.
Yeah, I think it's going to be next summer. He can't me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the way things carry on Almiron goes as well.
Yeah,
he's out of
We're
favour
back
now.
to square one, aren't we?
Who goes first? Then players or Steve Bruce?
Bruce is going to be here forever now.
Yeah, I think he will.
What do you think it would ever take Mike Ashley to sack him? What do you think it would ever take?
If we're in the
League
bottom
One.
three.
Because I think this season, maybe it's not, I don't know, because I think we've got a better team, but it stinks of the McLaren type of era. Like, it'll be too late. Like, I think McLaren got sacked with 8-9 games to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they left McLaren too late, and he had a bloody good team.
Yeah, you know, he had Wijnaldum and there was Torvan and Tim. I know he got stick, but he was mismanaged at the time. But I think it's starting to happen here. Almiron is getting mismanaged. That's how I personally feel. Tonight, I know Wilson's maybe not personally getting mismanaged, but the tactics in the game are mismanaging him. You know, like, when's Callum Wilson ever played up front by himself?
Never.
You know, never. And then tonight he is, and he's doing his job, but there's no one next to him. Ryan Fraser coming off the bench. Players will get sick of this. You know, Fabian Shaw never looked happy centre mid when he came on last year, and he was terrible when he did. And again, he's coming on again. I know Longstaffs are out, but there's a few things Bruce is starting to do now, and I know he gets a lot of credit for keeping the players happy. I just look, are the players really that happy? I looked at them tonight, and I didn't think they were playing for Steve Bruce, me personally.
They've got to start getting pissed off, haven't they? Surely.
Yeah. So
I'd like to see Matty Longstaff back as well, because there was a lot of grit and determination missing in the centre of the park today, which Hendrick and Shelby weren't really providing. So I think little Matty getting stuck in will.
I disagree with that. Like, I think Matty just runs around like a headless chicken.
Liam, how dare you?
Does though?
From the man sat in a dressing gown who gave Joe Linton a 5 out of 10.
Is that what? Do you not think he offers anything else other than that, then, Liam?
No.
Fair enough. Not fair enough.
I think if the takeover happened in the summer, right, he wouldn't have got a contract.
Do you not reckon?
I think he would.
I think he's technically good as a player. He's a footballer. He's good, but he doesn't know how to play centre mid.
that's why you need a manager.
He just seems like a bit like a Jack Russell, where he just runs after the ball and then just loses his head. Fair enough. He's got 2 goals against Man U, and that's all he's really done. He wasn't great in any other 4 games. People have got to remember he only played 6 games last season.
Wolves away.
He had 6 games, and he scored 2 goals against Man U, and that's all he done. He didn't do much else. If Matty Longstaff was from London, he wouldn't be in that team.
He's the type of player you need to see him over 12, 15, 20 games. He needs a good run in the team before anyone can judge him, really. I just like the fact he's a local lad. He'll give more than, you know, we had Bentaleb there last year. he will give that bit extra more. I agree, Liam. He's not the best, but I also agree with Sam.
We don't know. We haven't seen enough of him.
We haven't seen enough of him. So I think he's potentially going to be better than Sean. So that's why I would have been gutted if we'd let him go, and then he'd gone to somewhere like Leeds, which was rumoured, and set the world alight. Under the right manager. He needs a good manager, and I think you hit the nail on the head. He is running around like a headless chicken because he hasn't got a decent manager to tell him where to go.
But this is what I don't understand, right? So for me, they've been playing football since they're about 6, right? They're probably the similar position. They play the under 23s, and then they get in the first team. How do they not know the position? How do they not know what a centre mid is?
It's all right. It's all right playing in the under 23s against people your same age, but when you come in and you're playing against Kevin De Bruyne or Pogba, and you need to have a manager who's tactical.
But I get that. But obviously, you play the same position under 23s to the first team, right? So how come? So if we watched under 23s when Matty was playing, would he have been running around like a headless chicken, doing what he wants, or would he have been sitting and actually watching the game, trying to control the game? It just seems for me like we'll go, oh, well, he's young, he's 19, 20, doesn't know his position, but he's been playing that position for 10 years. How does he not know what to do?
Do you not think the way he'll have to play that position will change weekly depending on who he's playing against? Though, because if you've got to think about De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva running past you, you're going to constantly, be rotating how you play. You're going to sit back, you're going to go forward. So he probably doesn't know because Bruce probably doesn't know him fucking self, so he doesn't know where he's going to be.
Yeah, I think Bruce just goes out and says, "Lad, just go and play football." You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Rather than saying to Matty against someone like City, "I want you sitting," and he probably says that he's just going out and doing whatever, and then looking like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, it's just
time will tell.
I didn't think we're going to do much this season. I think I was a bit positive and saying we'll get 12th, but after the day, I'll say we'll 16th for me.
I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. I wouldn't be surprised if we're in a relegation battle again. Definitely not.
The only shining light is Callum Wilson because he's scoring goals.
Yeah, definitely. So, thanks for everyone tuning in. As I said about 5 minutes ago, we're all dejected from this. It's been another poor display, but let's not fixate on it too much. On to Wolves next week. As Sam has said, we've got lots of Greenwood and Mulliner episodes coming up. We've been smashing content on both channels, to be fair. Loads of stuff on NFT TV Extra, loads of stuff on the main channel, and loads of stuff over on Facebook as well. So if you haven't already, share, subscribe to everything you can, because we're going to be giving you everything: morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you want it, at work, bored at home, on the toilet. There'll be something there to watch. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Liam. Thanks, Sam. And we'll see you all next week. Peace.
Bye.